Okay, we're going to show you some plasma fire evidences. It's fresh plaz. This post connected into this post right there where you can see the carve out. This hardware, these 5 nails or so, 5, 6, 7 nails, however many there are, I just pulled them right out of here. There might still be one here. That one right there, I could probably pull that one out. And then there's this one hanging. So that's the hardware that connected them. See these burn holes in between the slats? How it burns highly on this edge, unburned here. Highly burned on this edge, unburned here. Highly burned on this edge, unburned here. And unburned here, but highly burned there. Fire don't do any of that. Okay, so now that we've established this is definitely plasma fire going on here, show you some of the others. I'm going to run down here real quick and show you the evidence right down here on the grass rings where it burns out the inside of the grass ring and leaves the outer perimeter unburned. Right here. It's not the best one. But here you can see it's burned inside, unburned grass around the outer perimeter. Here, unburned around the edge, burned in the middle. We'll find a better one. Here's a pretty good one. Ash in the middle, unburned around the edge. This is a pattern that you can also see. Okay. Burned out in the middle here. Unburned foliage around the entire outer ring of the tuft of grass. And this repeats over and over. Burned out in the middle, right here where there's ash. And you have standing weeds all around the edge. You can see this same pattern. Here's a good one. Burned out all the way in the middle. Standing foliage all the way around the entire outer edge. This was one tuft of grass that grows like a grove of trees. There's the unburned ring around the edge with nothing but ash in the middle. Here's another one. Burned in the middle, unburned around the edge. And on it goes. They're all like this. Unburned around the perimeter. Burned in the middle, unburned around the perimeter. Find a couple more, but this is a pattern. Let me find one more thing I wanted to point out here for you. I was going to show you some steel belted radial that turned the tire to dust. But just remember this. Unburned around the edge. And you'll see that same pattern in a video that I titled 2 more firefighters armed with the white hot sword of truth. At that fire, I point out that very pattern to those firefighters, how it's burned in the middle with an untouched perimeter. So we were starting over there. And this is the same pattern that can be seen in the video arming firefighters with the white hot sword of truth. And in the video, what really started the California fires, where the bottom part of the fence post is missing. You can see here where it's still unburned. That's the outer part of the fence post, completely unblackened, not even burned a little bit. And then the fence post is completely gone from there to there. And then once it hits here again, it goes back to completely unburned, not even scorched a little bit. I'm gonna show you more of these fence posts that took out the whole thing and only left a little bit up at the top. As we walk over there, that's another example of that same pattern, burnt out in the middle, untouched around the outer edge. And they all exhibit the same pattern. Burned out in the middle, untouched around the outer edge. And on it goes. Each one of these, same thing, same thing, same thing. Well, let's go look at some of these fence posts. Here's number one. Missing the bottom 5-6 feet. That used to be right there. Hold on, let me see if I can brighten it up a little bit. Okay, that was a little too much. Felt like a delayed reaction or something. There you go. You can see the hardware is actually still hooking it in right there. And then it goes from 100% burn from there down to 0% burn. If this was emitting a flame, that flame would have come up and touched the outside of that. That's why I call them flameless forest fires. Because it sizzles it, like when you put a hot dog in a microwave. This one's missing the bottom part. Like when you put a hot dog in a microwave for too long, and it comes out black and charcoal looking on the outside, but it never combusted. It never put out a flame, it just sizzled. Yeah. So that one's just missing the bottom foot. Right? So how is that one missing the bottom foot, but that one's missing the bottom 5 or 6 feet? Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Yeah, my camera's not cooperating very well with me here. Anyway, we just looked at that one. It's missing the bottom 6 feet. This one is missing the bottom foot. This one is just missing a chunk out of the bottom here. See the chunk that's missing out of the bottom there? And on the other side here, it's scorched 6 feet up. Here you can see it was wrapped with some barbed wire, and it's missing half of it. So this other half of the post came up to about here, but it's burned it all the way back. So, EBT, you're gonna have to go to your boss and tell him, man, I demand a higher quality lizard person to shill for big fence posts. You're just not doing it for me, bro. Here's the other thing. These leaves, right here, can touch. Likewise over here. Likewise right here, they are literally touching. I can barely squeeze my finger between the charcoal of the post and that leaf. Where are we at? Oh. See how just sliding my finger up the post, I end up hitting that leaf? That proves that there was no flame coming out, or the flame would have hit that leaf. Right? You seeing what I'm saying? Flameless forest fires. And this thing is so burned that it took a big chunk out of here. A little hard to do this through the fence and with my left hand and all that shit. You see the chunk of the fence post that is missing. So it's able to burn that much wood, dense wood, but does not burn the less dense, more flammable leaves that are literally touching it. Man, I can't even see. Where are we at? Leaves literally touching the charcoaled wood. You seeing what I'm saying? And all across here, the ground scorches everywhere. The outside of the bark of all these trees is scorched black, but all the leaves remain. So let's go check out some more of these fence posts that EBT and Chalk Body Outline, they sure got their work cut out for them. They're gonna have to do some major shilling because this one, I'm 6'2", it's right up to my head. Untouched above that line, completely disintegrated and disappeared below that line. And there's another one up here, at least one more. All right, giggity giggity. Here's the hardware that was holding it all together. Couple of the nails. 1, 2, I could probably sit here and find more hardware, but no need. Oh, there's another one. 3. So there's 3 of the nails that were holding it together, holding the fence to the fence post. But it completely disintegrates the whole fence post down to where the only thing remaining is a few pieces of charcoal here. And above, it doesn't even blacken the unburnt wood. So there'll be a link in the description that shows you these rocks shattering. I kind of already went through here yesterday, but there was so much dirt on the camera lens and the sun was at a weird angle. This one's a good example of how it bends. It's unburnt on this back side of the bend. So you can see it was only burned on the underside of the curve, right? Unburned on that side, highly burned on that side. But it literally bends the wood, and I'm going to show you that with a few more. Here's one. And this is why Jamie Lee thinks that it is lasers with a stencil that creates crop circles using this same type of technology, where it bends the wood, it bends these trees. Just like in a crop circle, the stalks are bent. Before I move on, let me show you this, the spikes that I will be tripping over most certainly as I walk through here. All along the ground, all of these are burned to a spike. For one, fire doesn't leave the first few inches. Fire burns right along the ground and burns it all the way down to the ground. Fire doesn't leave 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 inch spikes sticking up everywhere that are completely unburned at the ground level, but they are also honed to a point So these spikes trip you with one foot and impale you with the next one that you land on. And they're all over the ground. The whole ground is covered with these spikes. I'll show you a couple more just to show you that they really do hone to a point. It's a little hard to get it to focus on them though because they're so small. It wants to go to the shit in the background. They all hone to a point. And it won't let you focus up close on one. Anyway, spikes all across the ground. This is a pattern that I've identified from my very first plasma fire video. Here are these bones. I've showed many logs that burn just like these. Only burned on the ends, not in the middle. I've shown many logs, and my theory is that somehow the energy comes up in and goes out the ends, or vice versa. But, try and get a little more light on here. Electricity only burns where it enters and where it exits. So it's like it's coming up and going through these bones, and only burning the end of the bone, not the middle. Fire doesn't do that. And I know we got another one around here giving you the same example. Here's the second one. Only burning the end. Fire burns evenly. It doesn't just burn the ends of the bones. You see? Nice. And here's one more. See how it's more burnt right here on the tip than anywhere else on the bone? Fire don't do that. And here, more burned on this end. Here, more burned on this end. And some more burned on that end than anywhere in the middle. Fire does not do that, especially repeating the pattern 6 or 8 times. Fire would burn the whole bone evenly if this were fire moving across the ground. Again, more burnt on this end and that end than in the middle. Here's one more plasma fired pole, missing the bottom foot. And see if I can do this reverse handed. It's a little difficult without hitting the stop button. See how deep that groove is? I can tell this ain't picking it up for shit. So it's got this deep groove that runs right down the front there. That's about 2 inches deep. Fire doesn't burn a 2-inch deep pit, 1 inch wide, like that. Fire doesn't burn the bottom of the post off and leave the rest of the post unburnt. So I'm not going to be making too many of these, more of these videos where I show you fire don't do this, fire don't do that. I have a huge library, hundreds of videos showing you these things. I just thought I'd make a couple since I was headed past, and this is a fresh one. This one happened this year. Here, It's a good example. It still has the bottom foot. It's missing this 2-foot section, and then from there up it's unburned again. And there was a beam coming over here, joining in right about there. Because I shouldn't have to say, fire don't do this, fire don't do this. It's plainly obvious to see. And I considered maybe Chalk doesn't see it, maybe EBT doesn't see it, maybe it's a self-defense mechanism to keep their self-image and worldview intact because they can't handle it, but no, that's not the case. Their arguments against this are so aggressive and hostile, there's no way that they're just trying to process it and can't wrap their mind around it. Not a chance. And it's a lot easier for me to conceive of the idea that they are agents intentionally pushing a narrative. We call this controlled opposition, you guys. Look, here's the nails still on the post. Look. 1, 2, 3. Here's how they were hooked in, like that and like that. So these 3 right here, it completely disintegrates the whole post from here up to there, leaving the nails hanging on the fence. But then below that, there's the nails still stuck into the board, completely unburned. And he'd say, oh, lightning could have done that. The last video, he said something like, oh, what, you think this is gonna take out the whole world when it can't even take out this one little fence? They have proven that they are agents, okay? It's not just people trying to go through the process of cognitive dissonance and normalcy bias, trying to normalize it and minimize it so that they can cope with it. They are demonstrating, besides the standard human coping mechanism, they are demonstrating an abrasive, hostile, aggressive approach to denial. So much so that there's no way they don't see it. They do see it. They are what we call controlled opposition. They debunk conspiracy theories. And when you see this, there's no way it can be debunked, but they continue trying and trying and trying and trying and trying to the extent which you can see they aren't even wanting to know the truth. They aren't interested in the truth. They have a one-track mind, and it is to try to discredit the message that I'm putting forth. But the message, the evidence, speaks for itself. It is self-evident. So there's going to be a video linked in the description where I show you a bunch of scorched rocks like these. Not sure how well that's coming through, but they crack apart. I can see this one's got a nice crack in it running right here. They crack, they shatter, and they scorch in ways that is not possible due to heat. It is the vibratory frequency of the microwave energy. Here's a good shattering example. This was right here, right? And it popped that piece off and threw it clear over there. I'm the first person that's been along here. It didn't just pop it and leave it like there. You can see it's perfect fit. A deer didn't come along and kick it off. When it separated, it popped it off and threw it that far. All of these rocks, you see how this one is scorched? You can see the dirt line now. Man, the light is not helping at all. Be nice if it would work with me. There's the dirt line. The scorch, and the difference between the scorched and the unscorched area does not match a difference in fuel around it. There's not enough fuel around this rock to get it that scorched. Likewise with all the rest of these rocks that are scorched black. There isn't enough fuel around here to get that hot, to get them scorched in this way due to heat and the standard laws of thermodynamics that accompany fire. This is electricity. Lightning bolts running over the ground that run over this rock and leave a big scorch mark going over it. Something more like that. Likewise with all the rest of these. Highly scorched here, unscorched there. The repetition of this pattern, highly scorched here, unscorched there. We'll find some more. Along with the shattering of the rocks. Now, like I said, I came through here yesterday and already made a video. So I'll just include that 10-minute video linked in the description, showing you scorched and shattered rocks. Can I pull this one? No. Because, like I said, I'm not going to waste my time anymore. But it seemed like a good time to give some examples. And this was a nice example that I saw as I was driving by. See all the spikes? Come on. Of course. Fire doesn't leave a bunch of spikes along the ground. Fire burns stuff clear to the ground. But I've shown enough evidence. Oh, that's the other thing. This burned spike, where you can see the charred wood, charcoaled, is literally touching a leaf. This type of fire burns more dense wood and leaves the less dense, more flammable materials around it. And you can see this pattern repeated over and over and over again. Where the wood is charcoal and the leaf that it's literally touching is completely unburned. Once you pull the bark off like that, you can see where the actual wood itself is charcoaled at the tip. Yet it doesn't burn the leaf that it's touching. See if we can get it to focus where I want it to focus, which would be a real nice change of pace. Yeah, whatever, it's not gonna. Oh, there we go. Here you can see that it's charcoaled on the end. Hold your focus for just another second. Here you can see that once again that's charcoaled on the end, and I literally have to move the leaves out of the way. Here, again, leaves right there. Charcoal on the end. You can see that it comes off in my fingernail. It's charcoal on the end. All of these are charcoal on the end. Charcoal. Right next to unburnt leaves. And so it goes all across this whole, all the unburnt leaves on the ground. Nice. So all of these trees have scorched bark on the outside. But all of these leaves that are still on the ground are sitting right next to scorched and charcoaled wood. And whatever reason, my camera's not working very well for me today. So this is missing the bark already, and that blackened part that you're seeing is actually the charcoaled wood. This piece right here, sizzled it all the way gone. There was also a tree right here. See that? There was a tree with a limb sticking out right there, and it sizzled it all the way gone. There was a large limb sticking out right here that got sizzled all the way gone. And so it is over this whole ground. Each one of these spikes that you see sticking up was a tree. that got sizzled all the way to nothingness. Ouch. Yet we have leaves of the new shoot sticking out. Why? Because these have shallower roots. I'm gonna try and jerk one up. Anyway, maybe we can get this one to show its true color. See how it's burned on this side, unburned on that side. Fire doesn't burn on one side or the other. But on much of this, that's exactly what happens. And it burns them to spikes, to points. All right, about time to wrap it up. I think I've bloviated on and on long enough. Some people, no matter how much evidence you put in front of them, they will never get it because they've already chosen not to get it. Here's a shattered rock example. Shattered rock. And when you can see how determined they are to not get it, it leads to the conclusion that they have a reason and a motivation to not get it beyond just wanting to keep their oh so precious self-image and worldview intact and not being able to cope with the truth. No. These guys have a motivation and an incentive that is more like they are getting paid or threatened. That's right, Matt. Paid and threatened. Like threatened with a court-martial or for violation of non-disclosure agreements. And everyone acknowledges that there is controlled opposition out there. And this is the type of subject that they would deploy such controlled opposition for. Because it is very necessary to keep the general public in the dark. Otherwise, mayhem. Otherwise, suddenly everyone is uncontrollable and ungovernable. If everyone saw what I'm showing you here, they wouldn't all pretend they don't understand, like Chalk and EBT. They would see how real this is and that you can't make an argument that it's anything but the end of the world. It's the end of the world as we know it, and I feel fine. See that? Yeah. Doesn't need me to explain it. You can see it with your own eyes. You think twice, you'll be the smartest one in your family too. Here's some more of those scorched rocks that I broke apart. You can see me break those apart in the description. There'll be a video titled Shattered Rocks, Scorched and Shattered Rocks, where I come along here and do this. Watch. Oh, wait for it. Oh, come on. You can see the crack along there. And normally when it's cracked like that, you can just pull it right apart. Another crack along there. And I gotta find at least one. Anyway, all these chips that you see, these are the ones that I pulled off yesterday. Rocks don't just crumble apart like this. That's only something that happens after the fire. This one looks like a good candidate. I'll try and find a couple more. God damn it. Maybe, maybe not. It's just not worth it anymore, you guys. Once I've shown you as much as I've shown you, the fact that there's not 1,000 other people on board with me that sing in unison, Chalk and EBT, you're full of shit, go suck dick, is where we should be by now. There should be 1 million, 10 million, there should be 7 billion people paying attention to this, investigating it, and giving a shit about it. But I'm still the only one, so it's not worth it anymore. You're not worth it anymore. You've shown your true colors. Your priorities with your paycheck. That's the only thing you give a shit about. All of this, shattered rock. Here you go. Here's a good one. If I can't fuck it or spend it, why do I care? I don't give a shit about plasma fire, Benton says. Well, that's why God don't give a shit about you, and you're about to get what you all deserve. Oh, how rude, how mean, how dare you speak like that? You should say it in a nice way that makes me feel good. Go fuck yourself. How's that? Maybe you should prioritize better. And you wouldn't have to feel bad about yourself for sitting on your ass and doing nothing. And if you were one of the people who did anything, who gave a shit about something that matters as much as this does, then you would feel the same way as I do. The only reason you would be offended is because you were one of those people who resemble the behavior pattern I'm describing and are worried you just might get what you deserve. Your priorities are gonna get reordered real fast. And it's too bad I've spent 5 years having to reveal how fucked up people are in their priorities. How much they don't give a shit about anything until it's their house burning down.